Are you looking into self-publishing on Amazon, not really sure where to start? Or have you heard something about what's called Kindle short reads? What exactly is that? And is it really all that in a bag of chips, as I like to say? Well, you're going to find out about all of that and more, so make sure that you stay tuned. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, where you'll learn to publish books that sell and build an unstoppable author brand. And if you want to learn all about self-publishing over on KDP, to Drafted Digital, to Apple Books and beyond, make sure that you hit that subscribe and turn that little bell notification and fill it full to on, so that way you don't miss a single video. I'm here live on a Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Daytime. That means that it's time to do a live broadcast. So if you're not catching any of these live broadcasts, I highly recommend that you come in, join the party, because you're missing out on something really, really big. Stick around to the end, because I'm actually going to be giving you a total of 5. That's right, a total of 5 really worthwhile categories you can utilize in your self-publishing business right away. So let's just dig right into it, why don't we? And so here's the deal. What are Kindle short reads anyways? Kindle short reads are simply just short books. To make it simple for you to understand, it's short stories. And in some instances, obviously nonfiction doesn't count for a short story, but you can kind of see it's broken down into different categories. Now, unlike what you're used to seeing with Kindle ebooks, you see all the categories broken down into all these. This is a separate category from Kindle ebooks. It actually says Kindle short reads. So when you go into the Amazon Kindle store, it'll say Amazon Kindle store, and then it shows a drop down in different selections, and Kindle ebooks is there, and then you got Kindle short reads. It's broken down into a few different categories, and this includes 15 minutes. That's about 1 to 11 pages. And then there's 30 minutes, and that's broken down 12 to 21 pages, 45 minutes, which is 22 to 32 pages, 1 hour, which is 33 to 43 pages, 90 minutes, which is 44 to 64 pages, and 2 hours or more is 65 to 100 pages. So there is that's broken up quite a bit. And so you're probably going, whoa, hang on a second, dude. Like, how did they determine pages? Because obviously not all books are created equal. Well, they still use what's called the KENPC, which is the Kindle Edition Normalized Page Count that Amazon determines is the amount of pages for this particular given book. So you can probably go and write something, say in Microsoft Word, you upload the docx, and it automatically formats it. It doesn't necessarily mean if you've got 15 pages of manuscript that you're going to fit into the 30-minute mark. So it's just kind of for lack of better words, it's a crapshoot. You got to kind of see what's going to kind of work. And if you publish enough of these, you'll be able to kind of know, okay, all right, I know I'm going to be able to get into this particular category. But that brings me up to the next point, because it's not all cut and dry. It's not like you can just go and, publish a book with, say, 10 pages and end up inside to 15 minutes for a given niche. So how exactly do you get access to Kindle short reads categories? This is where it becomes a little bit problematic. And what I mean is, sometimes you can get it right away and sometimes you won't get it right away. The very first thing I would say is, you're going to write your Kindle short read book like you normally would do a full-length book, okay? Even if it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages long, whatever it might be, or upwards of that 2-hour category. But you're going to write it like you normally do, and you're going to fill in the metadata like you normally do. Title, subtitle, everything's the same. You're going to make sure that you're selecting your keywords very carefully, because much like any other Kindle ebooks, they're going to categorize you automatically based on your BISAC selection inside your dashboard. Remember, you get 2 BISAC selections, BISAC, BISAC, either way. That is the categories that you have inside your dashboard. And they're going to go ahead and put you into their Amazon category based on that selection. So what ends up happening is you go ahead, you select your keywords, you select the BISAC, and then your book goes onto the market. And people hopefully start checking it out, they start purchasing it. And then in due time, what's going to end up happening is, as soon as you get your first purchase or your first page flip, if it's through KDP Select, it's going to pop up into a Kindle short read. Now, if it doesn't, That means that you probably didn't select the right BISAC or keywords for Amazon to automatically categorize it into Kindle short reads. So don't fret, don't freak out, okay? And I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a strategy. And it is 100% white hat. And the worst thing that they can do is they can just tell you, for instance, that it's not appropriate for that. They'll say, oh, you can't do that. Kindle short reads is what we give to you. Because technically they say this is their categories and they determine who goes in there. But if you were to go into your KDP dashboard, scroll down to the very bottom and hit the contact us feature. And there's a variety of specific inquiries that you can fill out. But for the most part, you're going to go into book details and you're going to report to them. Okay, I've got ASIN, whatever it is. Okay, so find the ASIN for your Kindle short read or your soon-to-be Kindle short read, and then find these particular categories. Now, I actually have a full playlist on how to find categories, and even more recently had shared how to do that. I'm going to leave the link of that in the description down below after this live broadcast. And in any event, you get these categories and you ask them to add it in there. You're going to know what your KMPC is when you look inside the metadata for your book after it's been, I would say, about a week inside your dashboard, and it should say that. So you'll know where you're going to get categorized at. It'll say 10 pages, 13 pages, and this typically is the information you'll find in the KDP Select enrollment page. So then you can go, okay, this is the category, because you want to make sure that you go in here and not waste anybody's time and ask for the appropriate categories. Now, you're going to get pushback from some Amazon reps. Some of them will say, sorry, can't add you there. And then other times they're going to go, great, you're added. That's awesome. I've found, I'd say 99.9% of the time, as long as I did my due diligence and I made sure that the pages were correct for a specific Kindle short read and the category was appropriate to that, then they've never rejected me. The very few times when I was like, oh, shoot, I was off by a few pages. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, my bad. So now that you know the selection, why are Kindle reads just so important? Why do I feel so strongly about them? Who should be publishing these short reads? So why are they so good? Well, it's a great starting point. So if you're a newbie self-publisher, you're a newbie author, one of the worst things you can do is invest a ton of time into making this epic novel. You've worked on it for the last 3 years. You have it edited top to bottom. You've poured your heart, blood, sweat, and tears into this, and then you launch this novel onto the marketplace only for it to flop. Kindle short reads is one of the best ways for proof of concept. This is one of the ways that you can, instead of launching this novel, maybe send out a little bit of like a scout, a flagship. So your flagship book, you're going to send out a scouting boat, okay? And this means like whatever your novel is going to be that you're getting ready to release, you can always do like, say, a prequel or some type of a spin-off to where you can find that proof of concept and start to build your following. And it doesn't require as much time and energy and resources as what a novel will. So I can't stress to you enough. If you are a newbie author or you're an author that is struggling right now, consider the Kindle short reads and do it in a way that's, first of all, ethical. You're not just going in this to go ahead and work the system. This is about reaching a market and getting that demand met with a particular product that's going to hopefully elevate your specific brand. So think about the Kindle short reads. Who is it going to be appropriate for? Everyone. Absolutely everyone. In fact, I think that each and every single one of you watching this, and even some of the folks out there that are doing no content and low content book publishing, need to start to be thinking about how you can start to build your brand in this way, because these will add up as great assets in your self-publishing portfolio. And the more you start to stack that, and the more you start to put some of these Kindle short reads, the more your account's going to grow in value. And that's really what I want to implore with each and every single one of you, that you think about Kindle short reads. And as I'm kind of sharing this, I would love to hear from you inside the comments. What are some of the things that you could put into Kindle short reads? What are the type of short stories you could write? What's the type of nonfiction books that you can put out onto the market that's going to answer a specific problem with your specific solution? All right, so I told you I was going to give you 5 categories. Now I'm going to be straight up here with you. Under normal circumstances, I would be able to use one of my tools. But today I kind of had to just, last minute, I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and look this up. It was just a quick and dirty thing. So there is literally more than 5. This is just kind of whet your appetites and get you understanding that Kindle short reads are just lucrative. You're going to want to make sure you're paying attention to competition and demand. Competition's going to be, if you're looking and say the best sellers list for a particular category, and you want to see the first, say, top 5, if not the top 10, anything below 100,000 means that there is definitely the demand. But if we start to see that, say, the top 5 is like in the hundreds inside the bestseller rank or the thousands, it's going to kind of make me go, ooh, I'm in for a fist fight if I try to get into this Kindle short read category. If I see something that's, say, 10,000 to 100,000 in rank, I'm feeling a little bit more froggy. I'm feeling like, okay, there is a good mixture of demand and competition. So some of these ones that I kind of picked out, you're going to like this one. And I actually did some screen captures. So without any further ado, under normal circumstances, as I kind of mentioned, when you're looking for, say, a category, you could use, say, Publisher Rocket, which, by the way, if you have not picked up a copy of Publisher Rocket, do yourself a favor, go to dalelinks.com/rocket. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. You ain't happy with it? Just say so. Send it on back, and they'll go ahead and refund your money. But I'm going to tell you, I've had mine for 3 years, and I love this product. But it will not find Kindle short reads yet. Knowing Dave Chesson and the Kindlepreneur team, they will most likely have something like that rolling out, I'm sure, eventually. But just as a fair warning, Publisher Rocket will not find the Kindle short reads for you. It might, give you a couple of good ideas to kind of research. But in any event, so let's start it out with category number 5. This one's an interesting one. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start it out at probably, and I skipped 2 hours because that's a little bit more in depth. I went down to the 90-minute versions, and we're going to keep on kicking it down by about 15 minutes. So when we get to the number 1, you're going to see 15 minutes, and this one's actually going to kind of blow you away. It's going to singe your eyebrows. You're going to lose your hair just like me. That's how often I see some stuff that just blows my mind. So 90-minute science and math. Now, this is pretty interesting in that I looked inside the top 5, and I just did a quick screen grab, and if you can see right below each of the actual categories here, or excuse me, the titles, you'll see, say, 39,000 in the paid Kindle store. So that is really kind of reassuring, because let's put this in perspective. If you were to launch, say, your book today, right now, right about a dozen ebook sales would put you right into that top slot. Now, I'm just kind of fudging the numbers right now. It can be give or take, but 30,000 is definitely doable. I feel comfortable in knowing that we could definitely do that. And we go kind of move a little further down. If you look over into the probability one here, and you see it's at 74,000, that's definitely doable. Again, something that is going to be maybe 6 to 12 sales tops. If you've got KDP Select, you're going to have the unfair advantage. So that means that the page flips are going to help influence that rank. This is really kind of cool. You're going to notice from time to time there are some people that are getting miscategorized either by accident or they're trying to do it on purpose. I'm going to say, please, you, my valued viewers out there, don't put yourself into a category you don't belong. That's ridiculous. That's like me showing up into the library and I go down health and fitness and I find romance that's shelved there. Obviously, I'm going to go reshelf it somewhere else because it's completely just ludicrous. So please select the categories responsibly. So category number 4, 1 hour sports and outdoors. Okay, this one's pretty kind of cool, and you're going to actually love this one just a little bit more. Under normal circumstances, I would be gung-ho on this one. But I'm kind of looking at this one. This is like a fist fight with a grade schooler at this point. You're looking at, say, the top number 1 book here in the bestseller category for this is at 64,000. So with 64,000 there, okay, this means that, again, probably about a half dozen, no more than about a dozen sales of your particular book, KDP Select, page flips, so on and so forth. You get what I mean? And you come down a little bit further into number 5. This is why I kind of cringe just a little bit, because if I see something that's a little bit above 100,000, that means there's maybe not as much proof of concept. But if you have a ready-made audience, in other words, you already have, say, an email list, maybe you have a YouTube following, maybe you have a podcast, then there's good possibility that you could topple these ones rather easily and place yourself at the top of this and get that nice little bestseller tag, if you will. And so that is one of the nice things is when I see something like this is great. Now, if I see that number one slot at 100,000 and everything else just gets worse, I'm going to run away. This is probably not the specific category I want to go after because there's no proof of concept. That means that there's not enough demand. And even though there might not be very much competition, again, it's kind of like being the life of party when there's, you and maybe someone else and your cat. So that's just something to kind of bear in mind. All right, so the next category, number 3, 45-minute cookbook, food, and wine. This one kind of had me scratching my head because this is where I saw the incorrect category placement. And this actually, you'll see for yourself, it was how to borrow books from a public library for free using your Kindle e-reader and Kindle Fire. Really? I'm going to learn how to cook or do food or wine in this. Find that hard to believe. So in any event, you see at the very top, it's at the 20,000 rank. And if you haven't noticed this already, again, just kind of look down below here and you'll see the actual rank right about here where I'm putting my mouse at. So you can see it gets a little bit less competitive. You're going down to Keto for Life, which is completely okay. As you're kind of going along, you can see everything's appropriate as far as the placement. But we go to number 5 with Anthony Bourdain. It's at 113,000. So that one's going to be rather easy to topple. That's going to probably be top 3 sales altogether, maybe a few page flips. You'll be able to take that spot, no problem. But the whole point is to hopefully get yourself to the top of these bestseller lists and boost some of your visibility. Now, much like any of the other categories, folks, okay, if you start to really excel and you start to rank really high, you're going to boost up as far as those, not the sub niches, you're going to move up to the actual niches themselves. So like say, for instance, for cookbooks, food, and wine, it's put underneath 45 minutes. So you can probably start to place number 1 in that category, or even better yet, number 1 overall in Kindle short reads, and even best yet is placing number 1 overall in the entire Kindle store. So ultimately, that's hopefully what you're trying to shoot for. All right, number 2. This one's an interesting one. Be on call here on this one, folks. It's a good nonfiction category, business and money, 30 minutes. I was kind of blown away by this. I thought, man, this would probably be a lot more competitive, but apparently the 30-minute mark for some people is not quite doing it for them. So you can actually see here that with the actual paid store, we have 53,000. Again, half dozen, no more than a dozen as far as the sales go, page flips, yada, yada. We go on over closer to, say, this last one, 97,000, still below 100,000. So that means there's demand there. The competition's not too bad. So this one is a freebie for y'all. So you can actually take this particular category if you are an expert in the nonfiction niche of business and money short reads. I highly recommend that you tap into that. If you already have a brand set up, it might behoove you to actually put out something that is related to this that leads over to your flagship book, because this is going to be kind of a nice little sampler. Kind of like when you go into Costco, you have that little sample where you walk through the mall and they say, they give you the toothpick, eat the chicken, come over, have the rice. I'm like, no, I'm good. But in this particular instance, this really works out in your favor. Boy, we've burned through a lot of these particular ones. I want to let you know that every Saturday, folks, and hang on, stick around here for just a second. I got to plug my little thing here. I'm going to give you the last one. The last one's really good, 15 minutes. But join me every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Daytime. That's Universal Time Coordinated -4 at twitch.tv/self-publish. That is actually where I record the podcasts. And see, I usually wear these headphones, and today I actually brought out my fancy podcasting microphone, so it sounds a little bit cleaner, and also I'm not getting all rambunctious. I get all hyped up and such. So Amazon KDP guidelines is what we're going to be talking about. This unseen policy changes. Good news for everyone here. Okay, I know some of you are like, Dale, I kind of like YouTube. I don't want to go to Twitch. Listen, it's going to be so worth it, and I'm going to show you why. Because we're going to be doing a simulcast one last time. That means we're going to do YouTube and we're going to do Twitch. So that means this week and this week only, we're going to be airing at 12 p.m. Eastern Daytime on both twitch.tv/self-publish and also here on YouTube. And we're going to be talking about the unseen policy changes. We're going to be going through a podcast recording so you actually get to see what it looks like behind the scenes. And just a heads up, you can head over there right now if you want, twitch.tv/self-publish. Hit the follow button. It's kind of like subscribing here on YouTube. But you can hit the follow and you can turn on the notifications so you don't miss any time that I go live over on Twitch. It's a little bit looser and it's all live. It's all live content, kind of like what we're doing here. And also, you can subscribe for free with Amazon Prime over on Twitch. Now, subscriptions are a little bit different, but the nice thing is it's 100% free, and you get some perks being a subscriber over on twitch.tv/self-publish. So join me this coming weekend. All right, here we go. Final category. Here's the final category, and you're going to be blown away by this one. It is 15-minute teen and young adult. I thought for sure this would be so freaking competitive. It would be hard to slip in here. But the numbers don't lie here. And you see number one right now is at 28,734 in the BSR. So this is doable. This is very doable. We can see that 44,000 on this one, 91,000 on understanding Snapchat, and then it kind of goes up to 100,000 or greater. So the demand is there. The competition, at 28,000, I'm going to say it's definitely at least a dozen, probably about 18 to 20. Bless you, Kelly. And so this right here, and teen and young adult is super competitive, trying to break in this particular niche. So just be a fair warning. If you're new to this particular niche, understand this, that you can try to maybe expand into the larger categories, after you put out your Kindle short read, but you may have to probably put out about a half dozen of these short stories before you start to gain some traction as an author in this particular niche. So that was the 5 niches altogether when it comes to Kindle short reads. So without any further ado, I want to get on over to the live chat. So if you happen to be watching this on the replay, definitely stick around if you want to see any of the question and answer. Otherwise, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below to a specific video that I'm going to show you how to select the right categories and also how you can kind of spy on a little bit of your competition and figure out what categories they're utilizing.